Hey guys, this is Gilbert and today I'll be playing Michael 1967 here in a 15-8 game here on Light Chess. Let's see what we get. And we get a Ruy Lopez. So I like to play a6 here, challenge the bishop. Afterwards, get my knight out. I think expanding is a good time right now. This bishop is going to have to move. I haven't actually seen Queen E2 before, so it's a little unexpected. Normally the queen helps the pawn expansion on d4, so it's a little odd to see. Notice that I can play bishop to c5 without big issues. d4 doesn't hit very much. So let's do that. We're getting our bishop on this diagonal. That will be helpful. And I think d6 is a good use of time. Notice that if d4, I can back up. I don't necessarily want to capture. Bishop g4 is an idea. Notice that h3 was not played. Normally in the Italian game you include the move h3 because the pin is annoying. Notice that if h3 I back up to h5 and g4 is a serious concession. So let's go for that. Let's castle. d3 isn't doing much right now. It's not really fighting for the d4 square right away. So there's 1, 2, 3 pieces that are helping with the d4 push, and I have 1, 2, 3 pieces that are defending against it. Notice that if d4, I could capture with my bishop right away, hitting the queen, and then recapture with my pawn. Pawn takes, and then I still have 2 pieces as compared to only the rook being on there. I could play a move like a5, expanding, but a5 does weaken the square on b5. I could also play knight a5, but that does lose control over d4 somewhat. What to do here? Let's see. Let's take a pause and think about the middle game plans we have. So I don't necessarily want to move the knight in c6 because I want to control d4. But what else to do? Where does my queen belong? Queen c8 comes to mind, queen b8 as well. Queen e7 is just getting out of the way. It could be useful. It gets my rooks connected if I can play queen e7, rook b8, and expand this way. It should be pretty good. Let's go for that. I want to get my queen off the back rank. Notice that I'm not taking away squares from the knight. If queen d7, this knight would have a harder time retreating. So he does not go for d4 right away. Okay. Look at how his pieces are somewhat cluttered. They're just kind of getting in the way of each other. He is preparing to break the pin. Should I just go for rook b8? Notice now that there is more defense for d4 because if I capture, this knight can be replaced. That's the advantage of linked knights. So I could go for a5 here, or maybe even knight a5 attacking the bishop. Knight a5 is what I'm considering right now. Let's go for that. I may want to move the c pawn, and I want to throw a punch at this bishop, and so he flickers, he moves. I may want to move my bishop back now, possibly even just play b4. Let's go for b4. I'm trying to open up the position, get my pieces active. Notice how cluttered, how uncoordinated these pieces are. I don't want to help him unclutter, but at the same time I want to get active while I can. If I can get my pawn to c5, I should be doing well. So here I have the option to place b takes c. Notice that there's less defensive d4 in that case, and that might be a good resource for me. Notice that this is still pinned. I think capturing is the right idea, but let's see, what if he keeps a c-pawn? What am I doing after that? I could play knight back to c6, but after a move like d4, I'm not really prepared to play b3. Rook b8 comes to mind. So rook b8, d4, bishop a7, rook b8, d4, pawn captures. Rook b8, d4, pawn captures, bishop a7. We're getting ready to play c5 there. But this pawn is sort of weak if I play c5. Let's reconsider here. Notice if I play c5, d5 is weak. What to do here? What's my knight doing on this square? Maybe an option is bishop d7. Looking to get on this diagonal to b5. That's an option, but I don't know if I want to get off this pin yet. Maybe if I get challenged with h3, I can go back to d7. I don't know if it's necessary yet. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with my pawns right now. I could go for knight c6 and try to go for my a pawn, rolling with my a pawn. Notice that the b pawn is somewhat alone. Capturing, I don't know. Capture. I could play rook b8 here. I think I'll do that. I want to get some options. Although I do notice that there is this threat of pinning my knight. What is this knight doing? I may want to play knight to d7. Maybe I up c5. I see that a lot of my play is going to go towards the queen side pretty soon. Notice there's two pieces helping with d4. So capture. The rook is there to capture if I capture with my bishop. I may want to play f5 as well. So I think knight d7 is a good option here. I'm sidestepping the pin and getting ready for my attack. Notice that my pawns are pointing on the king side, so maybe that's where I should be playing. f5 does look like a nice pawn break for me. Notice how uncoordinated he still is. I mean, what are these bishops doing? I like this bishop though. This dark squared bishop could be a challenge to play against in the future, but at the current moment it's not doing much. Okay, so he's offering me a swap of the dark squared bishops. Do I want to take that? If I decline, what's going on? Let's say bishop captures, queen captures. I could get my knight. It's hard to say. I could play knight b7 to get my knight to c5. And if I get kicked with a move like d4, I could go to e6. I don't really know what to do about this knight right now. I don't necessarily have to respond. I have my knight. I can go to that square. My knight could recapture. Should I just go ahead and play f5? f5, pawn captures. I could capture with my rook. Capture, capture, rook captures. Then we have this attack, this discovery attack with d4. But I could as well play f5, capture my bishop. Do I want to play f5 right now? If f5, what about d4? d4 I can just capture. No, I can't, because then there would be a recapture and they're on my rook. So there's a lot going on in this position, and I feel like I lost my advantage. I hope white, after clearing open the b file, I haven't really been using it. Maybe I should get on it. Rook b8 would be a good start, getting off of this diagonal. Let's start with rook b8. I don't see... Maybe I should have used this rook, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to play f5. So he goes ahead and captures, and now that I look at it, there may be tactics against my a6 pawn after a move like d4. So I need to be careful about that. I have about 5 minutes on my clock. I could... Let's see. What to do about this bishop being striked at? Let's withdraw. Again, I'm still worried about this. Maybe I should have gone to c8 to protect my pawn. Notice the discover attacks. It's kind of hard to say. I don't really know where my pieces are ending up right now. Notice the knights are a lot more coordinated now. G6 could be an option to take away the f5 square from the knight. Notice that there's no dark squared bishop, so putting a pawn on g6 is not as harmful right now. But I do need a plan. These clowns are just kind of here. So he does go for the attack. I can't necessarily play this. So what do I do? Am I just dropping this pawn? Maybe I should have kept my pin. Where do my pieces want to end up? This knight, I had to find a square for him. If I recapture, pawn captures, and I don't really like that. This pawn could be striked at pretty easily. So maybe just knight d7. If knight d7, queen captures, rook over, I'd get my other rook on b8, and I'd have two files to work with. So even though I'm losing a pawn, I do get a file. Let's go for that. I gotta make sure that this pawn doesn't... Okay, so we just blocked in our bishop. We lost sight of that. Couple issues here. This knight is stranded. We're losing this bishop. f5 comes a little bit too late. How to best move on? I don't really mind capturing my pawn, so maybe I should just ignore it. Protect this guy. How do I do that? I can get my knight into c5 now. There is no pawn that can attack me. Let's capture with this guy. Notice that we have some threats against this rook. If this queen ever moves out of the way, then I could technically go for this exchange sacrifice where I open up the king side. The queens are still on the board. But yeah, I should have noticed that my bishop was running out of squares. Yeah, with this move, knight to d7. Maybe knight b7 was a better move. So I have one pawn for the bishop, and I don't really have a plan. So not the greatest of positions, but it is playable still. This bishop isn't doing much. This rook, what is he doing? But at the same time, I am getting some more activity. I just need to find something to do with my pieces. I need a common goal. I could double on the f-file, potentially. I could also put a rook on b2, which would be pinning the bishop. So he's offering me a knight trade. I'd go ahead and capture and then exchange. What's going on in that position? So we have knight captures. What about rook captures first? Rook captures, queen captures, I take the knight. Rook captures, pawn captures, queen check. King over. So I guess I have to decide if I want this knight or not. I'm definitely looking at rook takes f3. Rook takes f3. Pawn captures. Queen captures. Queen over. Queen check, I mean. Or there's also knight capture. At the end of that line, I could play knight c6. And then get my knight somehow, maybe to g6, potentially these squares, I don't know. If rook captures, knight captures, there is this threat on c6. I could capture though here in this line. So I think I'm gonna go for this. Notice that the queen is a little bit overloaded. Too many responsibilities. That's what I'm trying to take advantage of, but I need to be careful here. I have 2 minutes on my clock, and at the same time we're down material. So if queen captures, okay, we don't have that. We have a check instead. I could invest the time and drop my knight. Let's get the knight back. This knight might one day be useful. So it looks like maybe the sacrifice wasn't that great. If rook here, I get kicked back by the rook. So let's go to this square. I need to get my knight involved, possibly my rook. Maybe I should have also considered captures and then have putting my rook on b2. But this king is kind of safe. I only have one piece around him. Okay. So we want to get our pieces involved. How? d5, does that help us do anything? d5, pawn captures, knight captures. I'm just dropping a pawn there. What if I play rook up first? I don't think d5 is helping me at all. What knight do I want to get in? Here. Oops. Here. Or let's go with this knight. I like this knight, it's far more advanced and it's taking away some squares from the bishop. So let's not move him for now. 1, 2, 3, 4. It also took more moves to get to f4. He may be giving me back the material. I have invested a lot of material to get to this stage. Yeah, I would probably go for that. But at the same time, that does give me resources for king f7 and then rook h8. So it's a little double-edged. Notice that this knight is also defending this pawn on a6. Let's pre-move that capture. We do have only 1 minute left on our clock. Okay, so he wants to get in on that square. I want to play knight to f4, blocking all attempts at that. But I do drop material. I don't really know. This probably isn't great. I am dropping pawns. Rook down. I was thinking Kh8. I just didn't want the trade to happen. Yeah, maybe king here. I don't know. It looks like I'm just losing at this point. So my opponent is coming in hard. What to do about this? It feels like we're just losing. This knight can't do anything. This rook is virtually useless. Yeah, keeping the attack was not worthwhile. Let's throw a punch at this pawn. He's probably going to defend with this bishop. No, okay. I'm dropping this pawn. The position's crumbling. Now this knight will be under attack. It doesn't have any safe squares. Maybe knight b7 would have been a better move. Let's go for this. It's not working at all. Bishop captures and he's fine. We are dropping everything. This game is going downhill. Let's go here. Why am I moving my knight? My knight was on a good square. Throwing a punch at this rook. And we're hitting this pawn. But just a move like queen g2 would help. I don't think I have anything here. 24 seconds on my clock. It's about to be over. I'm down 99 points in material. That's insane. Let's see. Let's capture. Let's take what they give. This is a check here. Checkmate. Yeah. It's game over. GG. Michael 1967. So definitely should not have captured that. Just mate at this point. Notice my king has no squares, so any check I had to defend. And there is nothing on f8. Just a rook. He will be capturing. So he missed a mate. It's interesting. Let's defend our back rank. So we stole a pawn virtually for free. But we're still in a horrible position. There's not much going on here, I must admit. I wonder how this will end. So I really should have calculated what the long-term plans were, and if the king was actually very weak after the exchange sacrifice. I now realized that it probably wasn't. There was not enough pieces surrounding the king for me to go for that kind of attack. And I guess I should have been playing on the queen's side, but you know, this game I kind of played it very scattered. What to do? He is preparing to mate me. If I push h6, check, check, capture, the queen comes down to mate. mate is inevitable. I feel like a turtle hiding its shell. I don't like resigning too early sometimes because I feel that it helps with people's conversion technique if I do not. So even though I know I'm completely losing, I still want to see how he does this. Rook h4 comes to mind, getting ready to attack h7. Notice that the bishop's eyes are open to that. Let's attack the queen, why not? Attacking a pawn as well. He could just sacrifice his queen, honestly. I'll move like knight takes e6. I couldn't follow him for that. Knight takes e6, knight takes queen, take my rook. There's nothing. There's nothing for me there. I wonder if he'll take the pawn. He does not. How sad for me. Let's grab this guy. Let's get mated. Oh yes. Oh yes. Yay. Mate. Ah, rip. This game is sloppy on both parts. Me and giving the advantages away, and Michael and his conversion. Let's push a pawn. Why not? GG, Michael. Let's go to the analysis board, see where it all went down. Let's request a computer analysis, see where that goes. So clearly the endgame was winning. Great. Let's see, what do we have? So after we get into this line, I wonder if bishop c5 is good. Okay, it's an option, it's playable. I didn't really consider bishop to b7, even though this diagonal is open, so I should have kept my eyes out on that one. I'm used to having this bishop come out this way. So maybe b7 would have not been a bad idea. So castles, how are we doing here? So we have a healthy advantage here, and it looks like castling right away is good. This gives away our advantage. This bishop does not belong on g4 apparently. It seems that d7 is a better square to get on, potentially here, or even, I don't know, castles, d3, rook over, h3 defending against the pin. Let's say it's not defended against. Yeah, even then you don't go to g4. So that's something I missed. The bishop does not belong on g4 apparently. So d3. Now we're even. So we're even. Queen e7. What's wrong with queen e7? Here I wasn't sure what to do. I was considering moving a rook. Rook b8. Something along these lines. But I just didn't know. I don't know what knight h5 is about. Let's see that. Let's see. Let's say I move like this. Okay, so getting a strong knight is good. But let's say I'm like, well, that drops a pawn. Yeah, this bishop here is strong. Maybe that's why the bishop didn't want it to go on d7. So queen e7, maybe not the best of moves, but nothing too horrible. So it looks like white was better the whole game. It just kept getting worse and worse. So definitely by queen e7, I kind of lost my ground. Yeah, knight e5 doesn't do too much for me. I need to be improving my position. Rerouting the bishop, well, that's an idea. I should have paid more attention to bishop coming to d5. So b4 isn't great either. Maybe c5 is a better plan. Let's see. Let's say a move like this. We come back. Knight over. Yeah, c5 is being suggested. Yeah, c5 here. So c5 is an idea that I should have kept my eyes out on. I was considering it later on in the game after I had already played b4, but you know, maybe I should have rerouted my bishop and then played c5. So here's one of our biggest mistakes, knight to d7. The idea was to get out of this pin, but according to the engine, I just need to get my c-pawn available. Let's say rook over. I can't even move my c-pawn right now. If we're offered an exchange, what should we do? Accept it on our terms, it seems. Okay. So we get the bishop to e3. This wasn't a great move either. Rook b8 is okay, but this rook would have been better. Queen f6. Okay, you just withdraw. Yeah, normally whenever they play d4 and you have a pawn on d6, you don't usually want to take. So we get a recapture, okay. And here we drop a piece. So here I was considering the long-term ideas of coming to b6 and maybe going back to c4 in the future, but really it was just an oversight on my part. But this bishop does not have any squares left. So I should have done a tactical run and analyzed what's best. Yeah, so here this exchange is just not necessary. This knight was doing nothing, so I should have gone ahead and traded him. Notice that even capturing here isn't great. The engine suggests not even checking. Notice that if checked, the rook can just come in and save the day. Let's say we get in this move right here. Even after a check, there's just not much there. There's just no attack. Yeah, these rooks are just too good on white's part. So my whole exchange sacrifices ideas were based on nothing. And here we're just losing, so there's no attack. I hated this move, having to play it. Wasn't sure what else to do. I mean, if I play this move, I had to accept the fact after queen h here, I had to capture. And that's just admitting I'm losing, so maybe I should have played a little bit less emotional about my exchange and realize that the exchange just wasn't built on good ideas. So now we're definitely just losing. Yeah, there's not much to say here. Here was just playing it out, seeing how my opponent would convert. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any comments, suggestions, leave them below. Please leave a like if you like this content. Bye.